Is Irv facing troubles for the $30K he's stolen and can't repay? Is anyone behind the scenes telling Ma the truth about the children? I think we kind of touched on that because Vaughn is accusing everybody of manipulating his mother by telling her the actual truth. And we've seen him do that before.
She's also been seeing the YouTube videos, and from what Larry told me yesterday, Ma Helton said that she wants to go live. Oh. But she has witnessed his videos. She's watched them, but with her, she's cried because it's broke her heart, the things that he said.
Duh. I'm an idiot.
But he's always been, until now, he was always a scrawny kid. He was picked on. He was made fun of. And being her only biological child, that's why Alice has babied him and supported him and done all that she has for him. And it's just sad that he has taken all that and now treats her the way he does. He claims about going back to Ohio and getting his father's assets. His father left nothing in Ohio. Everything was in his mother's name. She owned 3 nursing homes. She had multiple rental properties.
Mm-hmm.
And there's nothing in Ohio for him.
I can tell you this. Nobody has messed with Mom's bank account except for him.
Mm-hmm.
He had a video. I don't remember where it was at, but I've seen the video, and his exact words were, I took that money out of the account that was Daddy's, and I opened it up, and I put it in my account.
Yes,
now, I know he has been told by the court system that he has to pay all that back, and he hasn't done it yet. He's been told by the courts to pay that back, and he's not done so, from what we understand. And if he's under the tutelage of a bank manager, why was one of Alice's insurances lapsed to where Larry had to go back and pay the back payment to get it reinstated? Why did Larry have to go in and have her phone turned on? He had to pay almost an $800 bill to get her phones turned back on. A bank manager would have made sure all of that was paid. And if Larry wouldn't have gone in and paid the property taxes, he would have lost all that land that he says that the Frost family or the locals around here that are supposed to go serve 2 life sentences.
Duh.
He apparently did have somebody clean out the barn and do that for the racetracks or something. And he got rid of his mom's antique tractor.
Oh,
you
no.
remember the tractor? He sold that tractor, and the family's a little upset over that because that would have got way more than what he got out of it. It was an antique tractor.
That was her daddy's tractor.
I know it was his daddy's tractor.
So just to be clear, not only did he just get rid of it without her consent, he actually sold it out from under her for pennies of what it was worth.
Mm-hmm. And I think that there was family members who had offered her more than what he got money for to try and buy it from her because it is worth so much more. It was a big antique Ford farm tractor.
I'm an idiot.
He went to Southwestern Ohio College. He never finished. He doesn't even have a 2-year degree. I saw the paperwork because he still owed a student loan. Southwestern Ohio College closed, is no longer even there. So that's why he touts that he got that degree, because nobody can disprove him. And he never went to real estate school.
I'm an idiot.
He thinks Larry is manipulating Alice when it's just the opposite. He's the one who has been manipulating his mother ever since her dementia got so bad. And not to talk out of sync, but the window that she went out of, y'all need to know that window is 11 to 12 feet from the ground.
Wow.
And she crawled from the backyard to the front yard where she was when I got there. I was an EMT for 24 years. And Marcia called me and said, Mom, get down there. And Alice is on the ground. And when I got there, I'm like, what happened to your eye? She had the worst black eye in the world. She said, oh, I already had that because one of the girls hit me in the eye with a wooden spoon.
Okay. He talking about elderly abuse. Well, he cusses his mom out so much that the neighbors can hear it. And
Wow.
the day that we got into it, he had pushed her down, and her about 5 something. He pushed her down.
He pushed his elderly mother onto the ground.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Because every time they bring him up on charges prior to now, she has paid him out.
Mm-hmm.
Just like when they took the kids the last time, she paid so that he could get those kids back. She
Right.
paid the lawyers. She paid the fees. She paid it all. That's why he's not in jail, because she has bailed him out and paid him out of every mess he's ever got in. Probably the truth of the matter would be, in my opinion, that he doesn't have any money to pay a lawyer, and nobody's going to take his cases, because all they got to do is talk to him for 5 minutes till they realize he's mental.
Jim, did Irvin ever complete his military career? Is he a green? There's people out there that say he's a Green Beret. Is he a Green Beret?
No, he was in Texas, and his sergeant, called Maine Alice and said, "Look, he has left the post. You need to come get him." He just barely finished basic training.
And it's interesting because that actually came up years ago. People had said that he went AWOL on a post, or he abandoned his post and got kicked out. So that actually is confirmed. Folks, here, you heard it here. The reason he got kicked out was because he abandoned his post, right?
Yeah, he walked off.
Yep.
And the sergeant called Maine Alice and told him to come get him.
Yep. They had.
So she went down and got him.
She had to go find him and then take him back to post, and then they did the paperwork to get him out.
Well, is there any more to that story? Like where did she find him?
He was washing dishes at a restaurant somewhere off post. That's what I got.
Well, the sergeant told her where to find him.
Oh, the sergeant did know? Yeah.
Yep.
So what, he got a part-time job? Or he was in the military or something?
Yeah. He just walked off.
Wow.
That's called AWOL.
Yep.
Yeah.
That is a court-martial offense, AWOL, isn't it?
Right, but see, Maine Alice paid some money.
Since we have the executor here of the will, if the kids are not there and they're not in Vaughn's possession, what happens to Vaughn if Ma, heaven forbid, passes?
Well, first of all that property and stuff that he's talking about he's going to lose is into a trust fund.
Okay.
That trust fund, nobody can get into it but me until they're of age, like 18 to 21, and then they can split if they want.
So is the property to be liquidated and then put in a trust fund, or they just hold on the property till they're 18 and decide what they want to do with it? Or
property, it can't be sold because it's part of the trust fund.
Okay.
And the only ones that can get anything out of it is me, the lawyer, and the kids when they get of age.
Okay. So I guess what happens to Vaughn if the kids aren't there?
Well, he's supposed to get $250 a month if there's any there. See, but he took all the money out of her bank accounts and stuff, so that can't go into the trust fund, so he don't get nothing.
But I mean, as far as like, will he be evicted? Like, who has standing on the land till the kids claim it?
Yeah, he don't get none of that.
So basically, he's got to find a new place to live.
Well, yeah, that could be true. I got to get hold of the lawyer. When something happens to Alice, I got to get hold of the lawyer, and we set up the trust fund. And with the will, he's supposed to get $250 a month, but if there's no money there, he can't get it.
Right. No, I guess what I'm getting at here is it just becomes clearer and clearer that the only one that has anything to lose here is Vaughn Helton. See, the way I look at it is since he doesn't have position of the kids and an income coming in from state-funded money for looking after the kids. His only alternative is to scramble before Ma passes and try to get a hold of the estate. Otherwise, he's got $250 a month to live on and possibly getting evicted, right? Like, that's the reality of his situation right now.
But he sold all the money.
Right.
And he blamed, and this, somebody said, he said something about $25 million.
$6.5 million.
Huh?
$6.5 million and $30,000 are the two numbers floating around that we've taken from them.
Well, if I had that much money, I wouldn't be living in this little house I'm living in. And I'd be...
Wouldn't be living in Clay County, Kentucky. That's for daggone sure.
That's right, I wouldn't. But anyway, he don't know what he's talking about.
Mm-hmm.
He makes stuff as he goes. Anything.
Jim, do you remember Big Irvin and James's relationship? Were they close?
No.
They were not?
No. Uncle Irvin was out in the yard, out in the field, plowing with a rototiller, and James was sitting in the trailer laughing at him. So I went and knocked on the door, and when he come out, I grabbed hold of him and told him, said, "Get out there and help your dad."
Right.
And Uncle Irvin would tell him, "No, he get hurt," so he wouldn't make him do anything.
The only thing that I could really tell, I would catch him watching me, and it would just kind of make me uncomfortable. So I went in there with my mom, and he wouldn't do anything if I was near my mom, because he probably don't want to admit it, but he's afraid of her. I can tell you right now, he seen the fear of God in his eyes when my mom got so mad at him one time.
But you felt uncomfortable around him if you were alone, kind of thing. Like,
yes,
you got
I would not be around him alone. It did not make me feel comfortable. I did not feel safe, and he would just like watch me. I don't know. It just gave me a weird vibe.
Did Andrea ever try anything with you when you were younger?
Yep. She had tried to kiss me. I was making peanut butter crackers at the counter, and she was standing next to me, and she was like, "Hey, can I have one?" I was like, "Yeah," and I made her one, and I gave it to her, and then she just like tried to like go up against me, and I'm like, "Whoa, hold on a second." And I just kind of like looked at my mom, and then I took my crackers and I went in my room, locked the door, and I did not leave until I did not leave my room until they left.
And Vaughn was there at the time,
Yeah,
right?
he laughed.
And he was laughing about it. He thought it was great. See, because I've known Vaughn to kind of pressure Mouse into doing certain things, and I almost like, this is complete speculation, but do you think it's possible that he maybe dropped the idea in your head at a previous time to maybe make advances on you or anything like that?
I honestly think so.
Yeah.
Because he has that predatory vibe. It just makes my skin crawl.
I was told that he had a porn website. There was a porn website that you could go onto, and his video was about the 5th or 6th video down, and they opened it, and the person said, "I seen his face and backed out because I was afraid of what I was going to see."
Whoa, this is bombshell. So Vaughn put a video of himself on his site doing something freaky?
I don't know.
Oh,
All I know is what I told you.
Whoa, this adds a whole new dimension to what possibly was going on in there. It kind of makes sense why he had locks on the doors, right?
Maybe. I've heard that the child said that she was afraid to go to sleep because there was a dragon or something outside her window that she was afraid was going to get her. Don't know. I've also heard from neighbors that the boy was sleeping underneath the trailer. I don't know. These are things that I'm getting told when I go into the store, or just people telling me. So
I think even the school has said something about it, because I'm pretty sure the girls went to school talking about it.
The girls. I've even heard that a school official noticed a change in one of the girls' behaviors, so they investigated, and that's when things went south. Now, like I said, I don't have these facts. I am going by what I'm being told from the community that knows him.
I was there. I had to help my mother scrape poop off of the walls. they had taken a crayon and wrote, "Why don't you love me, Daddy?" And some other things that I don't think I should talk about. It was pretty disturbing, because it had appeared that he had locked them in there even when they had to go to the bathroom, and that's just so sad.
Hello. Yeah, for the last, we'll say 4 years, we've just now started getting in see Alice and stuff with my kids, and they would hang out with Irvy's kids over there at Alice's. I started noticing, odd behavior coming from them. Like, I don't even know how to describe it. But we'd start seeing them sneaking out their windows in the middle of the night to play with the stray dogs. And they'd run around the yard, and I don't know if they were coming to escape their house to go to Grandma's in the middle of the night or what.
Mentioned odd behaviors, and I think before you mentioned, has anybody from the school or outside the family noticed, quote, odd behaviors coming particularly from the oldest daughter?
That's the main reason why Children's Services got involved this last time, is the teachers started noticing, because the son went to a special school because of his autism.
Right.
But the girls went, and while Alice was taking care of them, they would go to school clean and dressed in the clothes that fit them, and then she got in her car accident. This was when I think Marsha pulled back a little bit because of something between her and Irby.
Yeah, the video was released accusing me of stuff, so I pulled back.
That's when me and my husband would come over and try and help her, because she had this big gaping wound on her leg from the accident, and no one was taking care of her. So I'd go over there and I'd taking care of her leg and all that, and he kept the kids from her, like mentally telling her like she can't care for them, and because she's old, and it would be elderly abuse to let the kids see her. And
so withholding the visits from the kids is kind of
breaking her heart.
Yeah, breaking her heart. She'd cry. She cries over them babies.
She's still crying to this day.
Oh, I don't doubt it.
She thinks they're in their room right now, or something, like sometimes because of her dementia.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And that breaks my heart.
Every time that I would go over there, we would have to get all of the children's clothing. We would wash every piece of child's clothing that she could get her hot little hands on. We played with the children. We interacted with the children. I've even had to delouse the children because they've gone to school. I mean, and I can't say that it's James's fault that they got lice, because Oneida Elementary School is bad for lice.
But my girls, since I've put them in, I've been using that head lice shield.
Yes, and I had to go get her generic tea tree oil shampoo so we could keep them from getting lice all the time. Yeah. So, I mean, there was always somebody that
he was using it for himself.
Probably. I
asked him if he had a little bit that I could use for the kids.
Yeah.
And he got it out of his bathroom or something, and he's like, I need that.
Well, he'd have to wash to be able to use it.
Poison actually was like a muscle drink for the lice and made them stronger and turned them into super lice.
Who said that?
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. But yeah, that was that. There was always somebody that helped Alice take care of those babies up until she fell out of the window, and he has tried to tell Alice that Jim was the reason you didn't come home when you should have, and that's not the case. Jim was in contact with the doctors and everything and said, when can she come home? Is it possible for her to come home? And at one point, when the doctor did say that she could come home, Jim said, Alice, you got to wait for a couple hours. I have an appointment I need to go to. I'll be there to get you. She was there for as long as the doctor would let her be there. She was not there because Jim signed her in there and forced her to stay. She was only there long enough for that. And then after that, she had an open wound on her leg that refused to. No, that one was still from the window, from when she fell out the window. It took a half a year, if not more, for that wound to heal. And then she had the car accident.
Which she made my husband look at her car because she's like, my car wouldn't stop. She thought someone messed with her brakes.
Again, I don't want to dwell on it too much, but I think it is kind of important. But I had mentioned that the oldest girl a while back had exhibited some behaviors where she seemed to know things that a little girl shouldn't know. And I think it was you that had left a comment about someone. This is really hard to talk about, and I don't want to dwell on it, but one of the girls complaining that certain parts of her body was hurting.
Oh yeah, one of the women who started cleaning the house after Marsha, I guess, bathed the girls because they were just covered in
Dirt.
dirt, on filth. And she's like, I can't put water on my
Areas
because it burns.
Mm.
Like, I think she said that they were like swollen, and I thought maybe she got a hold of like 100% juice or something, and it was acidy or like pee or something.
Mm-hmm.
But then now that I'm starting to see these videos of him, and just the last few years we've been watching his YouTube videos, it makes me sick to think of
What may have, yeah. And I mean, I don't know for sure, but there's been some weird incidences on camera as well where apparently the oldest girl was wearing makeup and he was accidentally calling her Andrea a few times.
Yeah, I've heard him call her by different names, and I didn't know what her mom's name was
Right.
at the time. But now that I know, it was like really weird, and she'd just kind of go and sulk off in the corner, or he'd take one of the girls back to the trailer, or even the boy, like he would, and then they would be left over with me and my kids and Alice. And of course, I'm not thinking nothing of it because I didn't know him enough to make allegations like that. But
and to be fair, we don't know, but it just seems to fit a really weird pattern.
I believe that they have been exposed to things that they
shouldn't have.
Mm-hmm. Well, definitely living in a single wide. I mean,
happened. I don't know, but
right. Well, I think it's totally possible. Like even just a simple scenario of them getting up in the middle of the night to use the washroom, seeing something weird on the computer or something.
Right.
And they're old enough; they should have been able to bathe themselves and their own, like sandwiches and cereal, but they weren't allowed to leave their rooms to even learn how to basic skills for their age.
Right. Now, I was going to save this for a little bit later, but I'm just going to get to it now. And people have asked, and I'm going to let you guys, and I understand this is a complex dynamic. It's not as simple as sometimes when you're sitting outside of the situation. It's easy to be brave and virtuous in the comments of a YouTube video, but when you're involved in it, it's a little different. But it does beg the question, like several adults have witnessed this neglect of the children. And I know Alice has the best intentions at heart, but sometimes, it's kind of like someone who loves animals and takes so many in, but they're actually suffering from fleas and stuff. You're loving them so much, you're hurting them. And it begs the question, like, why did nobody contact CPS?
You're asking why the family didn't?
Yeah.
Because we would be down there helping Alice take care of them.
This is hard.
Yeah, we were more concerned for Alice.
Well, I don't even want to say that. Is like because I knew as long as Alice had them at one point, Alice had partial custody of them when they come back. So they spent 90% of their time with Alice. So
yeah, we already knew. By the time we started getting involved, Children's Services was already
the last time.
So I just kind of
everything kind of went downhill because
when you stopped helping them.
When I stopped helping them, because when I was helping, Alice did have part custody of them. And then
I wish I would have known that, because then I could have been like, well, you can't keep her from her grandkids.
Right. So she would always
letting her in her own trailer over there where he's living to see that, like to check on him. And she's like, I'm worried about him. I don't know what.
Because she would
him out
get
the window,
them,
and that's when they started climbing out the windows in the middle of winter last year. In their little summer pajamas, fit for my kids who are 4 and 5. Wearing 4 and 5 tees outfits and running with the stray dogs.
Larry just told me that Irvy kept the children from her for a year because Alice supposedly was chasing them with the broom. And children's service told him what?
I think she might have whooped one of them because they were tearing her kitchen.
James said that. James said no. Jen, hold on a second. James told Alice that CPS said that she couldn't see the kids. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
That she wasn't allowed to see them.
Now the kids were. It was such a complex situation because, like I said, Alice there was cribs over at James's house for all the babies, so there was like a total of 6 cribs between the 2 buildings. Okay, so that way, if Alice had them, and for at least a month after the children were born, they were at Alice's, and me and 2 other women would take turns going in to help her care for these 3 children. Okay,
right.
And then I only know of 4 times that CPS was involved. He's saying 11 and everybody else is saying 11. So see, I've lost a lot of stuff because it would go in spurts. And Alice can only...
I think it's been every other year that Children's Services got involved.
It's had to have.
With this group of children.
But we have been, me personally have been so close with the situation because, like I said, I would go down there and help them. Other family members would be down there to help Alice. We didn't want to take these children from Alice, and I'm sorry, I'm a firm believer. Children need to be with family. Yeah. And I know Alice had them most of the time until
I think Irvy
they locked her.
When he got her labeled incompetent, because then that meant no one could take care of the kids.
Right. And when she fell out that window, and Marcy's not lying, I know that there probably has been family members that called CPS, and I didn't, and I probably should have forever ago, but
you thought as long as they had Grandma.
Yeah, Grandma was always right there. Alice never let them children go without anything. He would go over to Alice's house to get whatever he needed because she would always buy extra.
We can see him on the camera
Right. So, I mean, it's disgusting to me how I feel about it.
Like how Larry bought her a pizza a couple days ago and he goes in and takes like 2/3
of the pizza and left her with 2 pieces. Yeah, he's something.
I would buy snacks for the kids and he'd be the one eating the majority of them while the kids are locked in their room. I think I saw a video of him eating the Go-Gurt that I gave him.